Just open up our minds and take a look inside. That we find we hold all the answers tonight.
You're watching RXG exclusives.
Oh, they tried to keep us away.
Could you do it? If you were left in the middle of nowhere to fend for yourself, to scarf down insects as your sustenance, create shelter from whatever you could find in the woods, and compete with others in the same position in a series of challenges, all amid the threat of being eliminated from the game, could you do it? Well, my next guest did do it. Twice. He's the star of the first season of the hit reality series competition, Survivor, on CBS. He holds the distinction of being the show's first African-American male contestant. This year marks the 20th anniversary of this addictive TV. He reprised his role on the 27th season a few years ago. And of course, I'm talking about none other than the man himself, Mr. Gervais Peterson. Thank you, my friend, for joining us today.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Now, many may know you as a reality star, and with that probably comes some unfair assumptions and misconceptions. But from what I can understand, acting has always been your passion. Some of your TV credits include the daytime drama As the World Turns, Nash Bridges, The Hughleys. And I've been fortunate enough to work with you on a couple of projects, including White Men Can't Rap, on which I was second assistant director and the script supervisor, and more recently, the feature film The Underground Kings. We got to play in the acting sandbox a bit, you and I. We portrayed two drug addicts who, well, let's just say, weren't too happy with each other.
Man, pass that shit. Relax, Jonesy. Relax. I am relaxed. I worked hard to get that rock and you trying to smoke it all up. Whatever.
So let me start there. You're a hilarious guy. You're very funny. But on the set of Kings, that's not what you projected. You were dedicated. You were focused. You were in the moment. You weren't holding back. You were giving. You know, it was truly a fun experience for me. But I was watching you the entire time. I was soaking it all in, and I felt that you really cared about the craft. Tell me, what made you fall in love with acting, and how did you get started?
So, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor, or a professional football player. And I think most kids have that dream.
I didn't dream of being a football player. I mean, look at me.
Well, that was for me. I never really played football growing up, so the football career was over before it even started. So it was acting. So, right after I graduated high school, tried to get into the biz, and I was doing a couple of things up in New York, some things with MTV, nothing major. And then at 20 years old, I had my first son. And everybody told me I got to be responsible. I got to take care of my kid. Acting is not the way to do it. So I listened and just got a job, started working. And then it was one day, I'll never forget. I woke up one day and I said to myself, I love my life. I'm working 3 jobs, over 110 hours a week, got a beautiful family, but something's missing. And I realized I want to be an actor. Like, that is what I've always wanted to do with my life. So I started taking acting lessons, and everybody was like, you're crazy. How are you going to be an actor now? You're too old, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. And when you know what you want to do with your life, it changes. Everything becomes so clear. And the focus is right there where you need it to be. So I was just studying the craft and fell in love with it. I'm not even acting, I'm just studying the craft and loving every minute of it. Studied for about 2 years and then was doing little, the extra work, the grind work, and loving it. Then Survivor came along. Got the application, filled it out, went through the whole interview process, and ended up getting picked on the show. The show exploded. And I always say it kind of shaved 5 years off my acting life because it put me out there right away in Hollywood. It gave me a name. It gave the face to the name. And everybody knew I was the funny guy. So I just took that ball and ran with it, and now I'm doing what I want to do. I'm acting. I'm living the dream that I've always had. So it was just an incredible experience for me.
Yeah, you've done a lot, and in addition to the credits I've mentioned, you've hosted morning shows and talk shows. I mean, this has had to be quite a ride for you. And you have a new movie called Stealing a Survivor. Any connection there?
A little connection. Yeah, so a good buddy of mine named Ray Martin had this idea for a movie. We got Walt Haley, a writer, to write the movie for us. And we've been working on this movie for 10 years. As you know, it takes forever to get a lot of projects to finally come to fruition.
Absolutely.
So a long stretch. I mean, it was originally supposed to be Stealing Paul Rudd. And it had a lot of different names in there. Stealing Steve Guttenberg, Stealing Kevin Hart, like just any name you could think of, you could put in that role. And after shopping it around for about 10 years and just never getting anything to work out, Ray just wanted to make this movie. So he wanted to go the independent route. And he came to me and said, hey, you've been involved with this project trying to help me get it made. I want you to be the lead in it. We'll do Stealing us. We were going to call it Stealing Gervais at first, but we wanted to switch it up. We called it Stealing a Survivor because his character is trying to survive the loss of his car service company. And my character is trying to survive the loss of my career and get it back. So, we just got the budget up for it and just ran with it and made this really cool, fun and funny movie, and it's touching, it's heartwarming, and it's got a lot of talent in it. So, I'd make a couple phone calls to my friends, Christopher Mann, Brian Anthony Wilson, who just, hey guys, I'm doing this movie, would love for you to be a part of it. These guys to me are just incredible actors. And we put this together, and I think we got something special right now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. And to have the duality of that with the two characters, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we thought we were onto something there.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you are a true artist. We artists are very creative. We can't sit still. We have to have our hands in a lot of things. You're an entrepreneur. Your business ventures have included a cigar lounge, a vodka line, a sports team. Currently, you've joined the world of journalism. Welcome. You have an advice column called Say Gerv in Boston Man Magazine, a podcast called Party Nerds.
What's up, it's Gervais with the Party Nerds, and we are here at New York Comic Con!
And you're the host of a radio program called Totally Unclear. Tell me about some of the projects you're doing, some of your creative endeavors, and what your personal mission is as an artist.
Yes, so just after doing Survivor, it really opened up a lot of doors for me. And I just wanted to take advantage of all of them. So, I've done the acting, modeling, hosting, correspondence, everything down the line. Gotten to, I talk a lot and always have something to say and some advice to give. And it seemed like, people have always asked me for my advice on things. So I started this column called Say Gerv, where people email me questions about anything and I'll answer them, but always with a little funny spin on it. I was writing for Philly Man and Jersey Man magazine for about 7 years, and then Boston Man magazine picked me up. So it's part of the Boston Man magazine brand. And then as a kid, I would always love comic books, superheroes, all that kind of stuff. So I do a podcast called Party Nerds, and it's about nerd culture. So it's comic books, cosplay, gaming, superheroes. And we really just have fun with the nerd culture. It's a big and ever expanding culture. And as you see in movies today, like the Marvel Universe, they have really changed the way movies are made nowadays. And that's a whole part of that lifestyle that I've always been a part of as a kid. My partner, Marcus Bradham, we do a radio show called Totally Unclear Radio. So it's about the endangered species of the opinion. And we feel like we need to protect that. Everybody is entitled to their opinion on whatever it is. We have to be able to respect each other's opinions and be able to voice our opinions. So it's a fun show. We deal with any kind of topics. We're all over the place with it, but people seem to love it. So, we're on all platforms right now. We're just really trying to grow that brand, to something big. And, I mean, just as an artist, my mission has always been just to make people laugh, to see people happy. I think laughter is one of the most powerful things out there that you can do. It changes you when people laugh and they're happy. And, you could change somebody's day just by making them laugh. To get that compliment from somebody to say, hey, I was having a terrible day and I saw one of your posts on social media and it just, it made me laugh. And I didn't laugh all day today. That means a lot to me because, there are people who are having hardships out there. And life is tough for a lot of people. So just to be able to have that distraction maybe and to get away from your everyday life, to just have a good laugh, to see a TV show or a movie or hear the radio show or the podcast and just get you out of your everyday routine and just get your mind away and you can just laugh for a minute and just let all that stuff go off your shoulders. It's a powerful thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, a brother could use a few new suits in his closet. Can you tell me about Moroney Custom Clothing and what you do there?
Yeah, so Dan Moroney is the owner of the company, and Dan does my suits. And he did my suit for the finale for Blood vs. Water, season 27 of Survivor. And it was just an incredible suit he made for me. And just talking with him, it was like, he asked me, you ever think about making suits? And I'm like, I don't think I got enough time for that. I'm so busy doing so many other projects and everything. And he was like, well, just think about it. So I thought about, I'm like, why not? Why not try something else? I'm always looking to do something different. Always looking to expand, my portfolio in that sense. So got with Dan and learned a lot from him. He taught me a lot about suits and how they fit a man, how they make a man look good. And we also do suits for females too. So it's just great to do suits. So we have a whole list of clients that we do suits for. And the great thing about the suits, because they're custom made, they speak to you. You can have any color, style, pattern, anything you could think of, we can do with the suit. So the suit is really a representation of you and your style. And that's the best thing about it. And I can definitely hook you up if you need some suits in your closet.
Now, obviously, we have this pandemic going on. I have to ask, how is Moroney faring in all of this?
Just like any other business, everybody's hurting right now. Our business is a face-to-face business. We have to get to you to measure you and take your measurements to pick out the styles and the patterns. But like anything else, we're learning to adapt, and, Zoom calls are great, phone calls or emails, just whatever you have to do to still keep your business afloat is what you have to do. And it's adapting to the world as it changes every day. And those who can adapt will be the ones that can kind of keep on moving along with this craziness going on in the world today until things kind of get back to a new norm.
Aside from stealing a Survivor, what else does Gervais Peterson have going on? What can viewers look forward to? And when are you and I going to do something together again?
So I'm working on, we got a web series coming up called Scrawl. We're in pre-production right now for that. It should be, it's going to be an interesting little web series here. Working with it with a couple of good friends of mine, Keith Collins, who I've done a bunch of projects with in the past. We felt like it was time to get together again and do something a little bit different than what we've done before. I have a couple other projects in the works that, as you know the saying, I can't talk about them right now.
Yeah.
So, but I have some good stuff. I think that people are really going to enjoy, a couple TV projects that if everything goes the way it should, hopefully, we'll have something on the air for people to enjoy. And as always, working on some movie projects and anything else I can get my hands on. I'm love to just stay in that creative process. I was watching one of your previous episodes. You had Nakia Dillard on there.
Yeah. And
Nakia is a good friend of ours, and just the things he was saying about just you have to stay creative in this time. You can't stay stagnant. Even though we're kind of locked up in our houses, there's still ways to be creative, and you have to do that. And that really stuck with me when he said that. It's like, yeah, we have to be creative. We have to keep on evolving ourselves. Even though we're locked in the house, we can still evolve ourselves even being locked in the house. And the easiest way is just to reach out to people, make that phone call, have that FaceTime, do that Zoom call, and just talk to people, and still keep those connections, even though we can't be in front of each other face to face, we can still connect with each other. So, and listen, we do need to work on another project together. I could say this, working with you on Underground Kings taught me a lot too, and just the same thing, the way you handled yourself, the seriousness you took about that role, people always clown you for things. Oh, you're playing a crackhead? Come on, man. Like, you can't do better than that. But it's like, for me, it was great because most of the roles I've done have been the funny guy. So it's always cool as an actor, to get out of your comfort zone from doing what you normally do and what's so easy for you to do. So it was real tough to play a crackhead. I've never really done drugs, so I really don't know too much about drugs in that sense. So it took the research, talking to people, and just trying to find out as much as I could to really bring that to life and make it believable. It was fun doing the scene with you. It was got a little physical, and but it was a cool moment for me, and a lot of respect to you, for your craft and just learning from you along the way from doing that project.
Well, no, I appreciate that. I was like, okay, more. Let's sell it. Let's give it to him. I very much love playing people who are the opposite of who I am. And I played a drug addict before. I've had some experience. I played a crackhead on The Wire. I played a heroin addict in my own film, Track Marks. But each role was different. You and I didn't just play drug addicts. We were human beings. Often addicts in movies, particularly of color, are depicted as just being an addict and not fully rounded, multi-dimensional individuals. But there's a reason why our characters were who they were.
Right. Yeah. They're, like you said, they're humans. They have families, and there's a reason why they're in the situation that they are in. And if they really did have another choice, they could do it over, they probably wouldn't go down that path.
Right. Well, before we go, Gervais, we've broached the pandemic a little bit, but I know that you're a father, and with the current racial uprising, if you will, all the divisiveness in the country, the upcoming election, what is your self-mantra? What's your pep talk to keep the faith in times like these?
It's really about staying strong and staying together. We can't make change by ourselves. We need to do it together. And it all starts with just taking that first step, whatever that first step is. I had a friend of mine today, a white guy that I know, he texted me out the blue, and he just apologized for being white privileged and not realizing and understanding the scope of him being white privileged and what it has done to people of color. And, I told him that's great because that's the first step. That was his first step, is just looking at it in a different way now. And now he wants to be more vocal. He was saying him being silent is part of the problem. He needs to speak up. He needs to support. So it's things like that. It's just taking the first step. Because once you take the first step, now you can really move forward from there. So it's just for everybody. I try to tell my sons, just be smart, and take your first step. Even though we may be doing things already, we can always take another first step now to move forward and keep things moving forward in that positive and right direction.
Well, Gervais, where can people learn more about you?
I'm on social media at SayGerv, SayGerv, on everything. And just spell my name, Gervase. You'll find me. The first thing that pops up is me. So
you're an approachable celebrity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I always said, even when I was a kid, if I ever became famous, I would want to talk to the fans. And because to me, without them, you can't be the celebrity that you are. So I like to, give back, with the speaking engagements, the appearances, whatever we have to do, give back to the fans because, they're the ones who can make you who you are. and I love them. I love talking about my experiences on Survivor with them. They enjoy those things, you know. The comments they get from any of the projects that I've done, it's really, it makes you feel good. Like you said, it makes you feel like you're doing something right in this world. So
you're not one of those celebrities who has a problem with talking about one of their claims to fame?
No, never. No. You know what? That's what made. I'm always going to be known as Gervais from Survivor. I'll never be able to get away from that. But why would I want to? There's so much love behind that, you know. So that's a great thing to have that love still. I mean, 20 years later, for somebody to see me and recognize me, it's like, whoa, you recognize me from 20 years ago? That's huge. You know, I can say nothing but thank you for that. That's an incredible thing for me, and I appreciate that so much.
Well, Gervais, thank you so much. This has been great. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Good seeing you, man, and definitely let's get together soon.
My thanks to actor, entrepreneur, and reality star Gervais Peterson. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. We're all in this thing called life together.